Everybody dies. Have you thought about what happens to your body after you die, though? There are lots of options available for the body disposal after death. However, today I'm going to discuss the green options available. A lot of people like the idea of living beyond themselves, the idea of breathing new life into the world even after they die. And one option is called human composting. With human composting, as explained by Dylan Kelleher and Melissa Petruzlo in 2023, it takes about 60 to 90 days to compost a person into soil. So you can plant that soil into a new life, new plants, new trees. It's April Dembowski who explained in 2024 that the body is inserted into a container and surrounded by alfalfa, wood chips, and straw, so that way it can foster microbes and bacteria to help accelerate the decay of the body and really start to decompose the body naturally. It's Dylan Kelleher and Melissa Petruzlo who highlight the main benefit of human composting in that it takes about 1/8 of the energy compared to cremation. So this is a great option for people who are looking to kind of lower their impact on the environment. It's about an estimated 418 pounds of carbon dioxide per body for cremation, and is environmental engineer Troy Hoddle who observed more than a metric ton of carbon is saved with human composting. So it's interesting to see how big of a difference, cremation versus human composting can be. Now, human composting isn't legalized everywhere. However, it is legal in Oregon, Nevada, Washington, Colorado, Vermont, and New York, according to April Dembowski in 2024. Returning to the earth to breathe new life into the earth really is a beautiful idea, and it's very fitting for a lot of people. So people like the idea of creating soil for their loved ones to then use as a garden later, and it gives them a place to visit if they plant that garden or a tree in the park. So it really gives them an opportunity to heal through the grieving process. So the next option I'm going to discuss today is called natural burial. With natural burial, you take limited steps to slow the decay of the body, and you don't like to introduce any foreign material into the earth with natural burials. So with a typical burial, it's common for the body to be embalmed. However, with embalming, the main ingredient is formaldehyde, and that is known to be toxic according to the CDC's website. And so with embalming, it does slow the process of decomposition, and so we don't really want that with a natural burial. You want the body to decompose as naturally as possible, and so embalming is skipped altogether. And with that is also the body is housed in a wool or cotton shroud, or even sometimes a cardboard box, as mentioned by S. Kelly in 2015. And this gives the body an opportunity to go into the earth without anything obstructing its ability to decay naturally and return to the earth. So this really gives people a spiritual connection with the earth, and people like this because it gives them a place to visit after the death of a loved one. You have a burial plot just like you would in a traditional burial. However, you don't have the gnawing in the back of your mind that the embalming fluid could leak into the grass and hurt the environment, hurt the plants and animals that live in the environment of the cemetery and everything. So this really gives you a better option if you do want to have a traditional burial but want to be more green. The last option I'm going to discuss today is called aquamation, or alkaline hydrolysis. And with this, alkaline hydrolysis is a chemical process where it includes lye, hot water, circulation, and pressure to help liquefy the body. Magda Slabert and Melody Loubouchon do a really great job of explaining this in 2024. And they further explain that it reduces greenhouse emissions by using less gas and electricity than cremation does. So what happens is you basically liquefy the body, which makes sense because the body is 60% water. And so it would make sense to get rid of the body with water. The only thing that is left are the bones, and so the bones then are minimally processed and turned into ash and then given back to the family. So that way the family can then hold on to the ashes as a keepsake to keep their family close, or they can scatter the ashes as in a traditional cremation. But with that, the carbon footprint for the aquamation is actually about 1/10 of a regular cremation, as explained by Julia Evans in 2022. So that's a huge difference. So if you're looking for something that is more environmentally conscious, but you do want to have something to hold on to, with like the traditional cremation offers that for you, you have that option available with aquamation. And it's interesting that aquamation was originally developed in the 1990s to dispose of animals. So with that, it was during the mad cow epidemic that they used the aquamation to get rid of the bodies in a healthy manner. And so with that, they've evolved into, human options, and they now offer, aquamation for people who are interested. And it's an interesting idea to liquefy the body and then still have something left over, and to be able to give that to the family is very therapeutic. So today I've discussed 3 green options, and all of the green options are considered environmentally friendly in some way, because they don't introduce toxic materials or foreign materials into the environment. And it also gives people a sense of peace, so that way they have a way to heal from the death of a loved one. And so just remember that everybody does die. However, planning can give us peace, and knowing our options can give us great comfort in knowing that we can be environmentally conscious after our death.